All right, so we're starting off part 3 of our final exam review, looking at special right triangles. We have 30, 60, 90 triangles and 45, 45, 90 degree triangles. All right, I want to give you a minute just to remember your short leg, long leg, hypotenuse, how they relate to each other. This value right here, the 6, is that my short leg value, long leg, or hypotenuse? It's my short leg. So I need you to try to remember, how does it relate to long leg and how does it relate to hypotenuse? Okay, go ahead and try to figure that out and we'll go over it in a sec. How does long leg relate to short leg? What is it going to be? No. Long leg. 6 times the square root of what? 3. 6 times the square root of 3. How does hypotenuse relate? It's double. The hypotenuse is double. So y will be 6 times the square root of 3. X will be 12. All right, what about 45, 45, 90? If I know that my side length is 9 here, what would my y value be?
9.
It'd be 9 too. And what would my hypotenuse be? 9 square root of 2. So it's just a matter of remembering how those side lengths are related to each other. All right, any questions? Any questions on those? Okay, so now let's look at trig ratios. On the trig ratios, you're looking at the given angle measure, and what side lengths do you know? Do you know opposite? Do you know hypotenuse? Do you know adjacent and opposite? Which ones do you know? That tells you which trig ratio it is. All right, go ahead and try to figure out which trig ratio it is and solve for x. All right, so we have 52 degrees. Is this sine, cosine, or tangent, guys? No. Opposite and hypotenuse. Sine. Sine of 52 equals x over 24. What do I do to both sides? Multiply by 24. So take the sine of 52. All right, so in your calculator, sine 52 equals, and then multiply that number by 24. Round to the nearest tenth. What is it going to be? 18.9. 18.9. All right, now I want you to do the same thing for the second triangle. It's just going to be a different trig ratio. So is it sine, cosine, or tangent? Use your angle measure and find the unknown side length. All right, so is it sine, cosine, or tangent? Tangent of what? 32 equals x over 15. What do I do to both sides? Multiply by 15 and round to the nearest tenth, 9.4. Who got 9.4? Okay, very good. All right, so that's your tangent ratios, our trig ratios. Now, this one's simply a matter of just plugging it into your calculator. So go ahead and evaluate these angle measures. Okay, did you get 0.6494, 0.9063, 0.9272? Did y'all get those? All right, so just plug them in your calculator. Now, this is the chapter that we just covered. In Chapter 12, we learned how to simplify polynomials. Specifically, when I'm subtracting, what is the rule that I have to remember? Change all the signs where, though? In the second set. So go ahead and rewrite this on your papers, changing your signs and simplify the like terms. So when we change all our signs to the opposite, 7y squared becomes negative, 3y becomes negative, 5 becomes positive. All right, so I reverse all my signs, and then I can simplify 10y squared minus 7y squared is 3y squared. What's negative y minus 3y? Negative 4y. All right, and what is 6 plus 5? 11. So really changing the sign is probably the most difficult part, and then it's just simplifying. Who got that one right? Got it right? All right, now on the second one, there are some terms that you have nothing to combine it with, like the very first one, y to the third. There are no other terms that are y to the third, so it just stays 4y to the third. What about my y squared? Is there any other term that I can combine with y squared? No, so I just leave it. What about my y terms? Negative 2y minus y is negative 3y. And what's 1 minus 5? Negative 4. All right, who got that one right? Okay, good. Any questions on these? All right, so that's adding and subtracting polynomials. What do you think we're going to do next? Multiply and divide. Okay, so with multiplication and division, I take my exponents and I either add or subtract them. Remember with division, we split them up into 3 separate terms and reduce. So go ahead and work on these. All right, ready? So negative 3x times positive 2x squared would be what? Negative 6x to the third. Okay, negative 6x to the third, and then negative 3x times negative x, positive 3x squared, and negative 3x times negative 7, plus 21x. All right, now when I split up my terms on the second one, whoops. All right, split up my terms on the second one, I get negative 21x over negative x plus 3x squared over negative x minus 6x over negative x. All right, so I just basically split them up and I reduce them. But what happens when I reduce variables that neither one have an exponent? It just cancels out. There is no variable anymore. It's a 0, okay? So then I can do a positive 21 minus 3x plus 6. But is that my final answer? No, because I can still combine the numbers and then I write it in standard form. All right, so splitting up our terms, reducing our exponents, reducing the coefficients, and we're done. Who got that right? Negative 3x plus 27. Good. All right, any questions? All right, how do we multiply binomials? Multiplying binomials. FOIL. Go ahead and FOIL these 2 sets of binomials. But wait, the second one's not a binomial. Yes, it is. What's my second set? The same exact thing. Same exact thing. Okay, so with the binomials, we do FOIL. So first, outside, inside, last. What's 4x times 2x? 8x squared. What's 4x times 3? 12x. And then 1 times 2x? 2x. And then 1 times 3? All right, and then 8x squared plus 14x plus 3. All right, now on the second one, we talked about this, that anytime we're squaring a binomial, it's basically being multiplied by itself. So we multiply it again. 9x squared minus 24x plus 16. All right, any questions on multiplying binomials and FOIL method? A couple of those on your final. The last thing that will be on your final and can potentially be a big help to you, hint, hint, would be simplifying the expressions. When we're simplifying expressions, especially powers of powers, we're multiplying these exponents, okay, and keeping the common base. On the first one, you know, we need to raise every term to a power. Okay, and then we'll take it from there. Go ahead and solve those. If we raise negative 4 to the third power, we would get negative 64. All right, and then m to the third. So then the second term, on the second set, because we're raising to a negative exponent, this is anytime we're raising to a negative exponent, what we're going to do is and you see how this 3 is already being raised to a power? There's already a power there. Well, when we raise a power to a power, we need to multiply our exponents, okay? And that's basically what we did in the first term, except there was a variable there, all right? So 3 squared raised to the negative 5th power would be 3 to the negative 10th power. And then in order to write that as a positive exponent, what do I need to do?
Make it over negative.
Yeah. All right, and then the third term was going to be n squared over 49. Okay, so guys, if you understand that, that is it for pre-algebra. That's it for your final exam review. You are done. Now it's up to you. Study, prepare, work hard. between now and the final exam, and let me know if you need any additional help.